Hey everyone, how's it going? Josh here, and today to continue our Game of Thrones lore coverage here on the channel, we're going to talk about the Children of the Forest. Now, these are really interesting people, or creatures to say the least. They have probably one of the most impactful moments in all of Game of Thrones in the form of creating the first White Walkers. But who are these people, these beings? And they're kind of mysterious, but let's get into it. So that the Children of the Forest were once thousands of years ago, not only in Westeros, but kind of the dominant beings in Westeros, more or less, before the first humans came to the place. They stayed close to the forest, kind of as their names, I guess, allude to. However, when the humans came, they started doing stuff like they cut the forest down, which led to them getting into conflict with the Children of the Forest. And they fought various times, different wars here and there. Obviously, both of them were capable of using magic to some extent. Kind of, I'm sure, really interesting battles ensued, but after 2,000 years just about, the Children of the Forest and the First Men decided to call a truce. Now, this peaceful pact, this peaceful agreement, lasted about another 2,000 years before the White Walkers eventually came back. And as I kind of touched upon earlier, the White Walkers were a byproduct of the Children of the Forest's magic, trying to actually have some protection against the humans. So that kind of backfired, obviously. And now the Children of the Forest at this point needed the humans' help to fight back the White Walkers. So allied all together along with other beings like the giants, they were able to repel the White Walkers, and also the Children of the Forest ended up being a crucial part in making the wall, as they used their magic more so than their hands in that kind of aspect. From here, it kind of gets a lot more mysterious. They're kind of fading into legend and myth and all that stuff, but for the most part, that's kind of their whole origin, I guess you could say. If you want to talk about more of the physical aspects of the Children of the Forest, they look similar to people, but just really short and small. Even when they're adults, they don't really go past, I guess, the height of like a child, a human child at least you would say, probably the size of like a baby giant. But they're also extremely long-lived. One of the characters, probably one of the most prominent Children of the Forest, if you were to look them up online, is called Leaf. And Leaf was involved with creating the Night King, they say like 12,000 years ago. So it just kind of shows you they're extremely long-lived, they have an extremely long time span, and also they're extremely impressive with magic. As they kind of, their name hints, they lived a lot in the trees and all that stuff. So they're definitely really tied in with nature. And they worshipped various gods guarding nature, like the trees, the rocks, the rivers, the grass, everything basically had a religious aspect to it in some respects to their culture. However, they did hunt in some respects, and they used stuff that was made out of dragon glass, which, if anyone knows anything about Game of Thrones, dragon glass is really crucial against White Walkers. It causes them to shatter. Now, in the books, the Children of the Forest are rather similar, obviously, as to what they are like in the show, but there's different types, I guess you could say, different classes of children. There are greenseers, and then there's wood dancers, and greenseers are more so just really powerful mages, if you will. They wield magic to do various different types of things, while the wood dancers are more of like their warrior group. But they're definitely a really interesting race of people, definitely inspired by things like dark elves and stuff like that from Norse mythology, or I guess dwarfs from Norse mythology. But comment below your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about these little creatures? Do you think they're cool? Do you think they're not cool? What would you like for us to kind of go over next? Comment below your guys' thoughts, and we'll see you guys later.